like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So here's your review of AEW Rampage and Dynamite, week commencing the 18th of September if you're in England. So it starts off with Ray Penta and the Hardys versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Butcher and the Blade in a really good match, but in the end Ray Phoenix gets the victory. Ray Phoenix gets the victory. Then we go to basically Britt Baker. She wants a TBS title shot against Chris Statlander, so we'll see what happens there. Then we have QTTV with Johnny TV basically taking over. They're bringing a Mexican wrestler to show support as QT Marshall's I think it's AAA Mexican champion, and then they basically beat down a Mexican wrestler. I'm not too sure why, but that's what they did. Then we had Matt Sardell and Christopher Daniels both coming out in sunglasses versus the Kingdom in a decent match, but in the end the Kingdom get the victory. Then we have Swerve Strickland, whose house? You meant to say Swerve's house. Brian Cage basically calling out the Bucks and Hangman for a match at Grand Slam. Then we have the Acclaimed versus the Outrunners in a decent match, but then the Acclaimed win, and then the Dark Order come out and basically say they want a shot against the Acclaimed for their Trios Championship, so we'll see what happens there. Then we have the Aussie Open versus some guys. Aussie Opens get the victory. Then in the main event of the evening is Chris Statlander versus Jade Cargill in an awesome match. Go and watch it. It was a really good match. Powerhouses for women. Really good match. But in the end, and still, your TBS champion, Jade Cargill. I mean, Chris Statlander. Well, I didn't have a lot of sleep last night. Sorry, everybody. Chris Statlander defends her title. So congratulations to Chris Statlander. She's on a bit of a roll, for real. Then we go to Dynamite. So Dynamite starts. So this is Dynamite Grand Slam as well. So not your news or Dynamite. It's like a pay-per-view. So then we had Claudio versus Eddie Kingston for title versus title. So it's a Japan strong title, I believe it's called, versus the ROH World title. Really good match. It's down to the wire. Go and watch. You haven't seen it, but and new ROH champion and still your strong Japan champion, Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston gets the victory. Really massive win for Eddie Kingston. Congratulations to him. Then we had Roderick Strong in the hospital. Basically gets visited by the Kingdom and Adam Cole. Obviously the Kingdom and Adam Cole going back and forth like, where are you? We've been here all day. We've been bringing him grapes. Where have you been? What's going on? So we'll see. But both of them had to leave because they had stuff to do on Dynamite. Then we have Christian Cage call out Darby for a three-way match on Collision, and with no Sting. So that's the stipulation if you want to say a match in Collision. And then we have Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara, just to get everything off their chest. Match basically, really good match. Go and watch it. There were a few spots that sort of went wrong here. There's a few misses here. Yeah, that's all I can say. But in the end, Chris Jericho gets the victory on a really good finish though. Shooting star pressed by Sammy Guevara into the code breaker. It was awesome. Go and watch it. The finish was hard. It was a really good finish. But then after the match, Sammy Guevara turns on Chris Jericho and leaves him laying, and then leaves with Don Callis. Wow. So then we have MJF basically turns up in a green Porsche with Adam Cole and calls out Samoan Joe. So we'll see what happens there. Then we have Moxley versus Ray Phoenix for the International Championship. Now I'm very sure Moxley was meant to defend this title, but right at the beginning of the match, Ray Phoenix hit I think it was a shooting star press. Standing shooting star press, somersault, moonsault potentially, and it hit Moxley, and Moxley, I think he landed hard on the floor or on the rail guard, and he didn't see the same for the rest of that match. He just didn't see himself. Apparently he was concussed. The ref caught some massive flack because I'm sure he was meant to win that match. So Ray Phoenix hits a move, and I believe Moxley was meant to kick out, but he didn't kick out, so the ref only counted to 2, and the ref started like, it's 2, and he started sort of putting his hands under Moxley's shoulders, and the crowd wasn't having it. Crowd were booing like, what was that about? And then I think Moxley just called it audibles, like, just pin me. So basically, and new champion, international champion, Ray Phoenix. So then we have Joe basically calling out MJF for their match later. Then we have Saraya versus Toni Storm in a really good match between the two. Go and watch, you haven't seen it. But in the end, and still your champion, Saraya. Then we go into the main event of the evening. It's MJF versus Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship, or the Triple B. Really good match. Before the match, MJF said he was going to choke out Joe. Usually MJF comes through in his promises, so he used a bit of tape to choke Joe basically and it choked him out, and MJF got the victory, and then he got the tape and gave it to Adam Cole. So yeah, that's your review of Rampage and Dynamite. Leave a comment.